Hi, this is Rick Yates, Technical Services Manager for GGS Pro and Griffin. Today's short video is going to be on garden mums and weed control. It's important for growers to read and follow all the instructions on the herbicide label. And just a reminder that labels change of various pesticides and without any notice. So anytime you purchase a new container of a pesticide, you want to make sure you read through the label and look for any changes. And we're going to mention some products we have confidence in today, but there could be other products out there that are also safe, legal, and effective for the same uses. I almost don't need to add any commentary to this slide. This wasn't intended to be a combo planting. Deep down in the middle of that weed field, you will find a chrysanthemum trying to get its head above water. Try to make sure that we don't run into a scenario like we just saw in the previous slide. It's really important to make sure that we're preparing the mum field for the arrival of the mum cuttings ahead of time. A lot of growers like to make a tank mix of a post-emergent herbicide along with a pre-emergent so they can make one trip through the field. A lot of growers use one of the glyphosate Roundup type products. Others wishing to avoid glyphosate will use Finale or Cheetah Pro that has a different active ingredient in it. Whichever one of those you choose as the post-emergent, then you have several options available to you. We'll talk about a few more, but these are all good products and be applied. Again, this is before the crop's in the field, so we're applying it to the gravel bed or the ground cover fabric, whatever you're producing in. I do want to make a point here. Marengo has some important specifics in terms of tank mixing. It is vitally important that you put Marengo in the tank and get it thoroughly mixed before adding the second herbicide. Failing to do that creates something that can only be described as a science fair project gone bad. It makes a long, stringy polymer, which is expensive, obviously, and also a mess to clean up. This is a picture that was taken. This is back in the early days when Marengo was just released, and this grower decided to treat one field with Marengo. And you can see, although the Marengo was applied in May before the mums arrived, after the crop was cleaned out of there in September, it was just absolutely weed free. And this is very typical of what the reports that we get back on growers that use Marengo. And just for the sake of comparison, the same grower, this is a traditional field that they had not treated, and that's what it looked like in September. There's some good herbicides that you can apply, pre-emergent herbicides you can apply over the top of the garden mum crop. On the left-hand side are products that can be applied by foliar spray. For a lot of our growers, Barricade has been the standard, the go-to, and it is highly effective and very safe over the top of mums. Like all herbicides, there's a few weeds that it doesn't get, and so we do recommend that every couple of years at the least that you rotate off to different active ingredients in order to keep from building up a particular weed out in your garden mum fields. We also like the tank mix of Gallery and Dimension, Gallery being more for broadleafs, Dimension for grassy weeds. That is a very effective tank mix, and there's a couple other options there that we don't have quite as much experience with in mums, but are labeled for that use. For granular products, Fortress actually has the same active ingredients in it that Gallery and Dimension do, so you can understand it's going to be a really effective broad spectrum product. And Snapshot is tried and true, and our growers continue to like to use Snapshot, particularly when they're looking for a granular option. This is a grower. This is both these pictures are from the same grower, and in year one they had called us about being very frustrated with an enormous amount of grassy weeds coming in their crop, and we made the recommendation at the next year that they make an over-the-top application of Barricade after the mums were planted. As you can see on the right, other than that one grassy weed that managed to break through there, it did a fabulous job, and the grower naturally was quite happy with that. When we're applying pre-emergent herbicides over the top of a garden mum crop, if it's possible, our recommendation would be is to get them set out in the field and get one or two irrigations or rain events over the top to settle the soil, and then quickly apply that pre-emergent herbicide before the weeds start to germinate. If we don't let the soil settle first, your pre-emergent herbicides work by creating a chemical barrier across the top of the soil, and if the soil settles a good bit and there's cracks in it, it could leave openings where the herbicide does not form that barrier that we're looking for. If all fails or something goes wrong with the herbicide program and we have some grassy weeds that break through, these two products are both post-emergent herbicides that can be used over the top of the mums safely to kill the grassy weeds without damaging the mums. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions regarding the video, you can use the contact information in this slide to get a hold of us. And if you have any suggestions for future videos, we'd love to hear about that as well. Thank you.